Well, I don't exactly have my journal with me, but I guess I'll tell you spirits what I'm going to write down if I get back to my journal at some point. Well, what happened today? Fair amount actually. Kael basically, I guess, kind of induced Ian into showing up at his place because he took his villager. I don't know what villager they're talking about, but he was taken. And of course, this is all what I kind of overheard on the telepathic networks. I didn't hear all of it because I'm sure they were saying things that I wasn't hearing. But the best I can gather, Ian went to get his villager, and Kael kind of trapped him there, and Ian told him that I had the statue, and then Astharus showed up, I think on his own, and he was getting annoyed. Well, he gets annoyed about a lot of things. And then, because of course the statue was the topic of conversation, and Astharus was told by Ian that it was given to me, and next thing you know, they all show up in my Botania workroom. No invitation or nothing. Just all the fellas were there, and I decided to take the opportunity, as well as telling them, along the way what I used the statue for, because they knew about Atera. Everybody was throwing her name around, so I was like, well, fine, you know about Atera. I guess I don't have to avoid saying things about her now. At least a lot less than I used to. And I was trying to convince Astharus that, Berserker would just get worse and worse and worse, and that, it was in his best interest to, free Atera, and that wasn't working at all. So then I tried to convince Astharus that I saw that he was necessary, and that he was needed, because I know a big part of his problems are the fact that he feels, at least in what I've seen him say and heard him say, he feels that he's not wanted. And that's why when his brother and his sister became more than brother than sister, as gods do on occasion. I don't understand it myself, but that's gods follow different rules. And that's why he was so upset. I think he felt left out. He felt lost and not wanted and not needed. And I hate to say it, but it was kind of like almost like a temper tantrum in saying, well, fine, if you don't want me, then I'll just make it so there's no reason for nobody to care about you guys. And I think that's kind of how this all started. But I didn't say that to him, of course, because you don't tell people that. They tend to get upset about you saying things like that. And it doesn't help the situation. So I was trying to at least let him see that I saw that he was needed, and that I didn't have any intention of having him, that all the gods were needed. And, well, that didn't work very well either. But in all of this, it came out that I was talking to Atera, of course. And as I knew it would, when Ian found out, he was very upset. He felt that I betrayed him, and I tried to explain, but it didn't work very well. Then everybody kind of went off their own way, and so I went back. Oh, there was a point at which William bound Astharus so we could talk to him more, or he wanted to talk to Astharus more, but that's kind of covered in what I already talked to. I just forgot to say that. So then I like I said, everybody kind of laughed, and William released Astharus, and so I went home. And this didn't all take place in my botanical workroom, by the way. At some point we were all removed elsewhere when Astharus got bound to the altar. With the division sigil being used. So Yeah, so I went home. And then I decided to talk to Atera because I'd done my best to I you know, I'm not a politician. I can't convince people of things, you know, very easily, and all I can do is tell them the truth or as much of it as I can and hope that that'll be enough, and it wasn't. So I called on Atera and we talked, and I found out some interesting things while talking to her. Well, the first thing that I found was very interesting was that she didn't bring me here. Eller didn't bring me here. Astharus didn't bring me here. She thinks one of the entities is the most likely being that brought me here, and that they're watching over me very closely, which kind of explains Richard a bit more. But I find that very unsettling because, I mean, for so long I've thought it was Atera that brought me, and it's not. But asking Atera for advice about what to do, and her, because trying with Astharus had failed, I'd failed with that. So her suggestion was to try to convince his followers. To convince him by convincing his followers. And, well, that seemed as might as well. That's a way to work towards, so I that's what I decided to do. Now, at the end of Astharus being bound, he made Ian his seer, and Atera told me that Ian, that Kael up to then had been Astharus' seer, and that I might be able to, once I let Kael know that, and a god can only have one seer apparently, that might actually help convince Kael to work on the side of balance. We'll see. William seemed a lot convinced by my arguments to Astharus, so he hopefully won't be too hard to convince. But then there's Ian, and there's my brother. And the most important thing I found out about my brother is that Astharus is the one who took him from my world after he died. Astharus had set him to trials when Atera found out, and that's why Atera had tried to trick him and destroy him to save things, to save the world, because the corruption had already started. But it seems that I might be able to when I say I, it's not really me. It's Daniel. If I can convince Daniel to see the truth, to see that I didn't mean to betray him. I know he feels like I did, but I didn't. I want to save him. I want Daniel back. I want him safe. I want my brother. I want this world to be in balance, but now that I know my brother's still here, I want him safe too. I want him safe most of all. And that's why I'm standing here. Well, my brother is stubborn, but so am I. I've spent some time talking to him, and now he needs time to think. And, well, I told him I wasn't going to leave. I wasn't going to give up on my brother. And so I'm going to stay right here. Ignoring all the explosions, he's thinking. I've given him time to think. I've spent some time talking to him, let him snack upon me once more to see that I'm telling him the truth. To see I've done everything I've told him everything I can. And it's up to him now, I think. I don't know what else to say. So spirits, you'll have to help me remember to write this all down later. Repeating things always helps. So I think I'm just going to settle down here against the wall and try to sleep. Oh, yeah. All my possessions? They're in Ian's basement. But I don't really care about those. If I get them back, if I don't get them back. Daniel. I want Daniel back. And Atera has promised me, because Daniel, uncorrupted by Astharus, is a good man, good soul, that if I can help him recover himself, and he is not what Astharus made him anymore, she won't have to do anything once she's freed. So I can save my brother. If I just know what to say. What to do. And I don't know. I can only hope that I can do that and save my brother this time. I don't want to lose him again. Good night, spirits.